Welcome back again to Joe Stunner Boxing. Brandon Figueroa wins an absolute war with Mark Magsayo. Now, before we get into what happened, I thought the judges had it way too wide. I think two of the guys had it 118, 108 or something like that, 117, 109, two of them. I don't know. It was too wide for me. I had this 114, 112 to Brandon Figueroa. And that includes 2 points off for Magsayo for holding, not breaking. I think the first one was for holding, the second one was, for clinching, not breaking when told. And he deserved to have those 2 points off, no question about it. He was holding on for dear life too much, locking up Figueroa's southpaw. It was his lead right arm. Magsayo was locking it up, and he did that repeatedly. And the referee, Thomas Taylor, who refereed this fight very well, quite rightly took those 2 points off. Now, why did I have it closer than the judges? I think it was, like I say, it was two 117s and a 109, two 117 109s and one 118 108. I don't understand that at all, because for me, the first half of the fight was won easily by Magsayo. It was annoying seeing him grab and hold, but certainly for the first couple of rounds, I mean, he was so much sharper. He was much faster than Figueroa. He was controlling the distance much better. He was using some nice lateral movement, not running. Nice little bit of lateral movement. Don't let Figueroa get set. When Figueroa takes a step forward, you take a step back, take a step to the side. Don't let him get in close. And it seemed to me that Magsayo was like a mental step ahead, as well as being athletically ahead, a step ahead. And I can't remember offhand. I think I did 3-1 after 4 and then 6-2 after 6. And for Magsayo. But this is a 12-round fight. And of course, if you're fighting that frenetically, with that much output, with that much pace, then you've got to have a very good engine to do 36 minutes at that pace. And Figueroa, he started to have, I think it was a cut on one of his eyelids, a right eye, I think it was. He had some slight swellings above the eyes. He wasn't badly marked up, but and he was landing his own punches. It wasn't all one-way traffic. It's just that for the first half of the fight, Magsayo was sharp, really fast, all sorts of punches. I mean, both hands, all sorts of punches, body, head, body, right, left, right. I mean, very impressive. And perhaps it was the movement that put the judges off. I don't know. I'm trying to speculate as to why they had it so wide, because to only give him 2 or 3 rounds, I don't get that at all, I really don't. At times, Magsayo did look like, he's from the Philippines, he did look like a little Manny Pacquiao. He's 27, so he's in his prime, and Figueroa's 26, so he's in his prime. Like I say, Figueroa is a southpaw, Magsayo's orthodox. But anyway, in the 7th round, so I've been to the second half of the fight. In the 7th round, I thought there was a slight turn, a slight twist. Figueroa started to get quite close, and it did for the first time look like Magsayo might be feeling the pace a little bit. And in the 8th round, finally, Thomas Taylor said enough's enough and took the first of the 2 points off. That kind of revitalised Magsayo, because Magsayo then went into sort of overdrive, and there was this incredible 5-hook just 5 consecutive hooks that I don't know whether all of them landed. It was delivered so quickly, and he was kind of shoe shining, and the obvious thought, this was in the 8th round, he was trying to make up that point, but of course the obvious thought was, how much energy are you using up in this round? Well, it turned out to be a lot, because in the 9th round, back comes Figueroa, and Magsayo starts to look a bit ragged around the edges. It does tend to look like his gas tank's beginning to run very low. And then in the 9th round and the 10th round, Figueroa really began to turn the screws. In the 11th, there was it the 10th or the 11th? I think it was in the 10th round, I think, where Magsayo actually sort of fell down twice and looked really, it was beginning to look really weary. And a couple of the commentators suggested that it was that they were knockdowns, or one of them was a knockdown. I don't think they were. I think it was just fatigue that was putting him over. But at the same time, it's sometimes when you can't stand up, I mean, obviously it indicates fatigue. And that was like a red rag to a bull for Figueroa. In the 11th round, he continued to turn the screws, continued to land the better punches, was getting up close finally. I mean, the last third of the fight was almost all Figueroa. But in the 11th round, there was no break when the referee said so, and the ref, Taylor, took a second point off Magsayo. And then you thought, okay, I thought it was a close fight. I was expecting it to be those 2 points to really matter. In fact, if Magsayo hadn't had any points taken off him, he'd have still lost the fight unanimously, which I find bizarre. But anyway, 11th round, he had another point taken off. And in the final round, it was just a case of survival for Magsayo, and Figueroa ran out a winner. But those scores, they just don't tell, they just don't tell the story of this fight, because Magsayo was really, really competitive. And some of the rounds were difficult to score, I suppose, But the first half of the fight, no way on earth did Figueroa win that. I mean, you can argue that he came on strong and, sort of overtook him, but this was, Figueroa afterwards was saying, yeah, I dominated him. No, I'm afraid you didn't, mate. I mean, you're a good fighter and all the rest of it, but, and you definitely won rounds, and you were putting the heat on him. And if this had been an old 15-rounder, there would have only been one winner. That would have been Figueroa. But you didn't dominate him over 12. No. You won a close one, I think, anyway. And the points off did help. But this headlined a PBC card. And it was a really good card. I mean, PBC, we've heard rumours of people leaving them, including, Wilder and Andy Ruiz. But this was a really good card. I mean, the Jarrett Hurd fight, and he lost. He got stopped in after 9 rounds. He got stopped. And there was that young lad Garcia. I mean, he looked good. This was a really good card. I'm just wondering if PBC, there might be life in them yet. They kind of lost their way with all this, other side of the street crap, and the fact that it became almost like a cult and almost like a closed shop. A star was born in Resendez. Armando Resendez stopping Jarrett Hurd. Elijah Garcia, and all 19 years of him. He knocked out Amilcar Vidal Jr. on this card. And then we had a absolutely terrific main event. So maybe there's life in PBC yet. I don't know what their finances are like or what their viewing figures are like. But when they put on cards like this, they are a valuable commodity when it comes to international boxing. I think so anyway. So what did you think of this fight? Do you share my view that this was a much closer fight than the judges said so? Did you think Figueroa won it? I do, but, how much by is a debate. This was for the WBC interim world featherweight title. But why we need an interim featherweight title when Ray Vargas is the champ, I don't know. And by the way, I think I did a preview video. I mentioned previously that Vargas had lost his title to O'Shaquie Foster. Of course, that was for the super featherweight title. I made a mistake there. But you know what? These belts piss me off so much that I'm kind of glad when I get things wrong regarding the belts, because I just don't care about them. I mean, I really don't. I want to see good fights like this. I want to see real fighters with good records fighting each other. I don't care if they lose. Mark Magsayo has lost 2 fights now. Doesn't matter. Okay, they're 2 tough, close fights, but against really good men, and he lost them. So what? He can come back. Figueroa lost to Stephen Fulton. So what? Fulton's a terrific fighter. Fulton is going to fight Naoya Inoue. Who cares? Whether he loses to Inoue, or if Inoue loses, so what? He's come up from originally light fly, now he's undisputed bantam. He's moved up to take on a good guy. Does it matter about the belts? Not for me personally. Not for me. But anyway, the winner, Brandon Figueroa, who is now the WBC interim world featherweight champ, gets to take on the real WBC featherweight champ, who is Ray Vargas. And yeah, belts and all this stuff. It's all just money in it for the WBC. We be collecting. Anyway, what do you think of this fight? What do you think of the PBC? What do you think of Mark Magsayo? I'll get his name right in a minute. You know what I mean. What do you think of Brandon Figueroa? Do you think he beats Vargas? Let me know. Leave your comments below. Hit the subscribe button and clock that like button as well for us. Cheers. Not been a bad weekend's boxing, I think. Pretty good. Talk soon. Bye for now.